Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 978th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to let you know that this is going to turn out to be an absolute cracking battle, and as you can see, it's fought on the Persian desert map. I've put several battles on this map before, and you can see that the enemy team, Team 2, has a ground advantage here. Just as you can see, they've got the higher ground there. If you notice there, see how high that ground is in comparison to where our team is there. So as I say, Team 2 has got a ground advantage here, but the map is very undulating. So there's, obviously ups and downs there. And over here at the rock, you will see the ground is raised there. And if we can get our units on there at the beginning of the battle, then obviously that's going to give us a bit of an advantage there, slightly higher. And over here as well, you can see a little bit higher there as well by the rock. But as I say, a very undulating ground map this one is. Okay, so our first teammate is Brotherhood member Skema. Now he's got a very unusual Macedonian army here. Get ready for this. He's got 18 pikes and 2 cavalry. Okay, 18 pikes and 2 cavalry. As I say, an unusual army there. Now this is a no archer battle. Okay, so we've got no archers, slingers, horse missile troops, or anything like that. But if you have a look at the upgrades, he's got mixed upgrades on his pikeman there. Now he's got 7 upgrades there, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. We know that the optimum upgrades for a Macedonian Royal Pikeman are 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, because Macedon morale is not very good. So putting 2 stripes on them is a good idea. But here you can see he's got 1 stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, remember he's got 18 pike units, so obviously the upgrades are not going to be that good. The vast majority of his pikemen are just gold shield, gold attack. Okay, if you notice that, gold shield, gold attack. So this army is quantity over quality. Okay, over here, look, once again, look, gold shield, gold attack. So as I say, Skema has gone for quantity over quality here. Now some of his unit, you'll notice that his general unit has got the optimum upgrades there, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack, 2 more units here with gold shield, gold attack, and then he's got 2 other units there, look, with 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, but the vast majority of his pikemen are just gold shield, gold attack. Okay, the vast majority are. So as I say, he's gone for quantity over quality. If I remember, his cavalry was well upgraded there, or he's got 8 upgrades on his companion cavalry, the winged horsemen here, with their 9 charge bonus. Okay, so 18 pikes and 2 cavalry. As I say, an unusual, I would suggest, army build there for Macedon. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Vidar. Now he's got 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. But once again, he's got an unusual army build here, as I'm just going to show you. Because he has incorporated 3 eagle units. Okay, 1, 2, 3 eagle units into his army there. Okay, so those are 3 extra morale boosting units, plus his infantry general as well. So, oh my gosh, he's got loads of morale going on in his army there, and unusual to see 3 eagle units as part of his Roman army there, and you can see his cavalry are just gold shield, gold attack there. Okay, so as I say, once again, I would suggest maybe an unusual Roman army build there. Okay, our next teammate is a Brotherhood member Fesen, who has unusually bought the Egyptian faction. Now get ready for this. He's got 16 Pharaoh Guard spearmen and just 2 Desert Axemen. Okay, remember this is a no archer battle. If you notice, his Desert Axemen, no upgrades. Okay, so he must have spent the majority of his money. They're not effective against armor either. But you can see he must have spent all of his money on his spearmen there, just had a little bit left and bought the axemen. Have a look at the upgrades there, count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fully upgraded Pharaoh Guardsmen. Okay, so they've got 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Plus, of course, they're going to get the desert bonus as well. Because they've got spears, obviously they're going to be anti-cavalry, but they are quite good at holding up enemy infantry as well. And with those upgrades on, fully upgraded there, It'll be interesting to see how well they do. But have you noticed something that's missing from this Egyptian army that you would expect maybe? No chariots. Yes, I'll say that again. No chariots on this desert map. Okay, so he's just got 16 spearmen, 2 axemen, and no chariots. I know when we saw this, we the rest of the team, shall I say, were surprised at that. There are no chariots, but we'll just have to see what happens. Our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's got a very old Greek cities army of 13 Spartans. Now, we know that Spartans do well with just gold shield, gold attack. They've got their 2 hit points, excellent specifications as well. But what I've done with this old army is I've compromised on the gold shield, gold attack. Some of them have just got silver shield, some of them have just got silver attack. But that's freed up money for me to put a veteran stripe on a lot of these Spartans. Okay, so the majority of this 13 Spartan army have got a veteran stripe on. Yes, I've compromised with maybe gold shield, gold attack. Maybe a few of them are down to silver attack or silver shield, but as I say, that freed up money to put a veteran stripe on these Spartans. Now, the only reason I'm telling you that is because later on in the battle you might find that very relevant. And as I say, remember, it's a no archer battle as well. Quite a diverse team with Macedon, there, Rome, Egypt, and Greek cities. Got the potential to be an absolutely cracking battle, and I really hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Barclayman. Now, he's got 15 pikes, 3 chariots, and an armoured cavalry general unit. If you notice the upgrades on the forward units of his battle formation, you'll see he's got 7 upgrades. By the way, this is increasingly Barclayman's faction of choice, Pontus, so he's got very good with them. Once again, 7 upgrades, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack at the front of his battle formation. But if you look at the rear of his battle formation, if you count the upgrades, you'll see he's got 8 upgrades there, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So the forward units there just stripe, gold shield, gold attack, but the rear units have all got 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack there. As I say, this is Pontus, Barclayman's faction of choice. He's got an old school armoured cavalry general there. Remember, it's got 2 hit points. He's only got 6 upgrades on. I think he's done that because he knows it's got 2 hit points on and good defense specifications anyway. Now we move on to the infamous chariots. Now, we've talked about these chariots a lot in the past. Remember, they've got good attacking specifications, a big fear factor, but if they run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike. So I would always say to people, if you're not confident or competent with chariots, you really need to think whether you want to bring them or not, because they are a real double-edged sword. Yes, they can be battle-winning troops, but if they run amok and start killing your allies' troops, especially chopping up cavalry, you can become very unpopular there. So as I say, that Pontus faction is Barclayman's faction of choice. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Naacal. We haven't seen Naacal on Rome Total War for a long time, so it's nice to see him. Now, he's got 13 infantry and 6 cavalry. Okay, 13 infantry and 6 cavalry. Just like to draw your attention to the wide battle formation here. Okay, I notice a lot of modern players tend to have wide battle formations these days. If you notice, his cavalry got 7 upgrades on, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack, and unusually there you'll see he's got war dogs there, unusual unit to bring. Must have just had some spare money left. And just to say, I don't know if you know that war dogs bring a small fear factor to the battlefield as well. I've never seen any unit rout from the fear factor of a dog unit, but they have got a fear factor there. So that's Naacal's army there. Now, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Mantu, who has bought the Armenian faction. Now, we just need to explain something to you here. You'll see 8 cataphracts. So what we've decided is that you know, Parthia and Scythia's infantry are so poor, we've given those factions 10 cavalry max. Okay, now Armenian infantry are better than Parthian and Scythian infantry, but they're not a lot better. But we notice that Armenia is not being brought to the 31k battlefield much. So what we've done, we've introduced a new rule now for Armenia, 8 cavalry max. Okay, so this was the first time this rule is in, so This is Mantu's experimental Armenian army, and if you notice, he has fully upgraded his cataphracts. Okay, so those are fully upgraded tanks of the ancient world, if you like, because they're armored from head to toe. So the cataphracts are fully upgraded. But of course, fully upgraded cataphracts are very, very expensive. So if you have a look at the upgrades on his infantry, you can see why this is just an experimental Armenian army, I'm guessing here. You'll see that his infantry have only got 2 upgrades on. I mean, I'm guessing bronze attack, bronze defense maybe, I don't know. But to put kind of all your upgrades on your cavalry, which are the strongest units in Armenia, but only leave your infantry with a couple of upgrades on. Yes, they've got spears, so they're anti-cavalry, but with only 2 upgrades on them, is that something that you would do? Fully upgrade your cavalry but only put 2 upgrades on your infantry? Or would you have lesser upgrades on your cavalry and more upgrades on your infantry? But this is the first time we've introduced 8 cavalry max to one of our games there, so it's all about experimenting there. Okay, their next teammate is our Brotherhood member Lando. Now Lando's got 13 infantry and 6 cavalry. That is his standard Roman army there with a no archer game. He's got 7 upgrades on his cavalry, experience, stripe, gold shield, gold attack. So the enemy are quite diverse as well, aren't they? I think they're with Pontus, Rome, Armenia and Rome. Right, okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a cavalry count because this could be really relevant during the course of the battle. So here you can see Barclayman's got 3 chariots and a cavalry unit there, so that's 4, we'll say there. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 so far. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's 18 so far. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. Right, so they have got 24 mixture of chariots and cavalry. So they got 3 chariots and 21 cavalry. So altogether, with chariots and cavalry, remember please, they've got 24 units. Okay, just think about that, 24 units, and this is what we've got. Okay, so there you are. You can see that Skema has got 2 cavalry. Okay, 2, and if I remember correctly, Vidar's got 6. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, so we've got 6. We've got 8 cavalry altogether. Fesen's got no chariots there or cavalry, and I've got no cavalry either. Okay, so we've got 8 cavalry. Okay, 6 Rome and 2 Macedonian cavalry, and they've got a combination of 24 chariots and cavalry. Okay, we've got anti-cavalry spear units and pike units here. Okay, but with that massive cavalry and chariot advantage, if they use them correctly, okay, they could be battle winning, as we might see later on in the battle. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, just to show you that the team has decided that we're going to form up over on the right flank. So once again, I'm on the left and I've got to run all the way over to the right flank there and hopefully not be intercepted by any enemy troops, cavalry or chariots coming down at me as I'm trying to get across onto the other flank. So literally, we've literally just pressed start now, so you can see I'm trying to run over there as fast as I can. And you'll see Fesen is already moving over there. Now, just to say, because there's a lot of pikes and spears in this game, you'll notice a little bit of lag in the game. I hope it doesn't spoil it too much for you. Some people's computers have a little bit of difficulty with when there's a lot of pikes and spears in a battle. Okay, you'll see here that Skema has got up onto the higher ground by the side of the rock that we looked at earlier. Okay, so he's taken a good position there. The only thing that's worrying me is he's facing a Roman army. Now, can you think what would be worrying me here? Well, what I'm thinking here is Lando's going to move his army forward and then throw loads of pilers into Skema's troops there. But remember, Skema's got 18 pike units. Okay, so I'm guessing that, you know, pilers thrown into some of his units is not going to cause major concern to him with so many pike units there. Okay, but as I say, Lando there will be wanting to throw pilots in. And remember, like we've talked about before, the big 121 man units are extremely susceptible to any kind of missile damage, so those armor piercing pilots of Rome will cause them a lot of casualties there. You can see those pilots there, almost like rain going in on those units, and here you can see more pilots being thrown into those Macedonian units there. But as I say, with 18 Pike units there, as I say, I suppose a few units getting a lot of casualties is not going to really make a lot of difference there. If you look at that unit, remember that's a 121 man unit there, that reduced to 65, nearly half reduced there from pilot hits. On the other side there, another unit there that been reduced down to, what was it, 99 there, from just pilot being thrown into them there. But there's no way that Lando's going to attack up that slope. If you notice there, can you see also, look at what they're thinking, distraught over enemy numbers. Okay, that's because there are so many Macedonian troops there that the Roman troops are distraught over enemy numbers, which means their morale has dropped. Okay, there's so many Macedonian troops there. Okay, so over here you'll see Fesen's Egyptian troops moving forward here. Okay, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lando decided to back his Scipii army off. You can see that Vidar's bought his red Julia army there, ready to throw loads of pilots into those Armenian infantry, but Mantu's doing the right thing in backing his infantry off, and actually Lando's doing the right thing in backing his infantry off here, because there's no way that he's going to attack up that slope against Macedonian pikes. Pause the game for a second there. So to say, that's a good tactical move there. He's thrown his pilots and damaged the Macedonian pike units as much as he can, and now he's just going to pull his men away from that advantageous position that the Macedonians have taken up there. Okay, so as I say, Team 2 on this map has got map advantage. If you've noticed there, they have got the slightly higher ground, but as I say, this map is very undulating, so tactical ground movement is very important. Now, something quite dangerous here, I think, for Vidar, I've spotted here. Now, he's facing enemy infantry, but look where Mantu has positioned his fully upgraded cataphracts with a downhill charge bonus, or down slope charge bonus here on this undulating ground map into the flank of Vidar's infantry. Okay, so that is, I think, a very dangerous position there for Vidar to be in, with that cavalry, with the downslope advantage that it has there. And don't forget, those cataphracts, those Armenian cataphracts, are fully upgraded. Here you can see Naacal looking like he's bringing some of his SPQR troops in to attack Vidar's infantry there, with the downslope advantage as well there. So just pause the game for a second here. Just wanted to show you Fesen's Egyptian spear battle formation there. Can you see that? I think that's quite an interesting battle formation there. Looks quite strong, doesn't it? And it'll be interesting to see how well that battle formation does during the course of the battle. Okay, but over here you can see, as I say, Naacal attacking the forward units of Vidar's infantry. Remember, Vidar's got those 3 eagle units that he's got at the back of his infantry there, and here you see Skema moving his massive Macedonian army here, maybe towards the flanks of the enemy troops. So remember that Skema has gone for quantity over quality with 18 Macedonian pikes, and you can see that I've just arrived over on this flank with my Spartans there. If you notice, I actually go the widest way over to avoid, as I say, any lightning attack by enemy troops there. Okay, so there you can see that Vidar's troops are being attacked by SPQR infantry, and I'm looking at how the enemy are looking there. I think they're going to attack Vidar quite violently, I think. Right, pause the game for a second. So once again, you can see here Mantu's fully upgraded unit smashing in from the flank. And what's worrying me here a little bit is that Lando's got his cavalry there with a downslope advantage as well. If they both smash in to Vidar there, they could cause a mass rout. So get ready for this. That's why I want to show you the cavalry advantage the enemy team have got. There goes the Armenian cataphracts, and bang, as they smash in there. Oh my gosh, fully upgraded Armenian cataphracts. And look at the infantry attacking as well, plus cavalry, enemy cavalry coming in as well. You can see the SPQR cavalry and Scipii cavalry going in there like bang, as they smash in there. Oh my gosh, what a massive attack. Remember, the enemy have got 24 cavalry and chariots combined there, and we've just got 8 cavalry. So that's why I wanted to show you the massive advantage they had. So look how they've smashed and crashed, routed at least 5 units of Vidar's troops there. Look, they've been smashed and crashed there by that combination of infantry and cavalry going in there. Oh my gosh, luckily his general's still alive at the moment there, but that was some kind of impact. Scipii cavalry, SPQR cavalry, and of course the fully upgraded Armenian cataphracts. Right here you can see Fesen's moved his anti-cavalry Egyptian spearmen over there as well to kind of steady the line. So that was a nice move there by Fesen to bring his anti-cavalry spearmen over there. As I say, you can see Vidar's Red Julia army still fighting some of the enemy troops there. And here is something interesting you might find. Now, you can see there that Skema's got well over 2,000 troops. I think he's got something like 2,200 troops altogether. So the numbers are going to distort enemy troops there. Now, can you see? Distraught over number of enemy troops there. And this unit there, I think, is going to be thinking the same. Distraught over number of enemies, see? Just because of the sheer number of those Macedonian pikemen there. So their morale has dropped like a stone. And I think the Skema could literally just overrun them there. Just run over them there with sheer weight of numbers and rout them. Meanwhile here, as I say, my Spartans I've just got over here. They're probably winded at least because I've been running in the desert. So I might need to get them into battle as soon as I can. But to try and rest them, of course, if possible there. But meanwhile here, Vidar's lost a lot of his Julia infantry on this left flank. But as I say, Fesen moving his Egyptian battle formation there has steadied the line a bit. But over here on the right flank, you can see that Skema's taken his quantity over quality Macedonian army into the flank of the enemy troops. Oh my gosh, here comes another cavalry attack. Bang! There's those Armenian cataphracts there, SPQR cavalry as well. So they've just smashed what was left of Vidar's cavalry there. I think has just been taken out as well. So as I say, and look at the advantage. Look at the high ground that they're on there as well. Look, with the downhill or down slope, if you like, charge advantage that they've got there. You've got Lando's cavalry up there, and here you can see that the Pontus general and Barclayman has just got over to this flank here as well. So he's got all those fresh troops, and all these troops here with the downslope advantage could almost look like they're going to sweep us away if they combine a massive charge there, couldn't they? But we just have to see. But as I say, poor old Vidar there has lost a heck of a lot of his troops there. But as I say, the massive Macedonian army of Skema there is on our right flank and holding well there against Lando's Scipii troops, and you've got the SPQR troops of Naacal there attacking him as well. So, but over here you can see, as I say, this is the first time we've put in that 8 cavalry max for Armenia. So Mantu's the first person to use 8 cavalry in one of our battles. So it's all experimental at the moment. Okay, but here you can see us moving our troops forward there into the enemy SPQR troops. Oh, that's good news for us. I can see a large amount of SPQR, I think cavalry there, and maybe infantry have been routed there by Vidar and Skema. So well done to them. Now good, that is us chased away all that SPQR cavalry. So really well done to Vidar and Skema there. Don't forget Skema's companion cavalry had 8 upgrades on, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So well done there. Nice combination kind of counter attack there really. But as I say, you can see all these Pontus, fresh Pontus pikes have just arrived with really good upgrades on. As I say, over here you can see the Armenian cataphracts there taking out that 1 Julia cavalry unit. But just think of the power and charge bonus that goes into 8 fully upgraded cataphracts there. Okay, so as I say, the fresh Pontus pikes have just arrived there of Barclayman. Now remember that Barclayman's faction of choice is Pontus, so he's very, very good with them. Very experienced with them, knows how to use the chariots and how to position the pikes, etc. there. But here you can see Fesen doing a very aggressive flanking movement there with his Egyptian troops. Now remember, because we're in the desert, his Egyptian troops will be getting the desert bonus as well. And don't forget, all those spearmen are fully upgraded as well. 3 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack, plus the desert bonus that he'll be getting there as well. So that is, even though he hasn't got any chariots, that army has turned out to be quite a tough army there. Okay, and as I say, that's his battle formation that he's using here. But I notice a lot of enemy troops are moving towards his Egyptian troops there. And of course, he needs to be very aware of those fully upgraded cataphracts right behind him that could look to smash into the rear of him if the enemy troops kind of pin and hold his forward units. So as I say, Fesen needs to be very, very aware of those fully upgraded cataphracts. Okay, here you will see that there's a lot of dead in between there, and you can see the Macedonian pikemen there moving up towards the Pontus pikemen. Over on our right flank here, you can see that you've got the chariots of Pontus plus Naacal's infantry there moving in. Another chariot unit there could be looking to take out Skema's cavalry if he's not careful there. Okay, Skema needs to move his cavalry, I suggest, away from that situation there. There you are. You can see he's moving away there from those SBQ or infantry that were starting to attack him. Now remember that the Macedonian pikes, as I say, he's gone for quantity over quality, but most of his pikes have just got gold shield, gold attack on, and we know those Pontus pikes are better upgraded than the Macedonian pikes there. Okay, here you're going to see Fesen moving his Egyptian back towards us there, but if his troops get hit while they're on the move, he could lose a lot of troops there. Right, can you see Lando there looking to hit him with infantry and cavalry? There's the infantry go in, now the cavalry, look at bang! And I think Lando was possibly expecting to rout some of those Egyptian troops there. But remember, those Egyptian troops are fully upgraded, they're getting the desert bonus, and of course, they are anti-cavalry as well, because they're spearmen there. So, well held there by Fesen, I think. I bet Lando was thinking with an infantry and cavalry hit, with the downslope advantage there, he might have routed a couple of those units. So well held there by Fesen, there with his fully upgraded Egyptian spearmen there. You can see more Scipio infantry coming in there as well. But there you are, you can see those fully upgraded spearmen, I think, holding really well. As I say, when we first saw this Egyptian army with no chariots, we thought, oh my gosh, very, very surprised. But these fully upgraded spear army there of Fesen seems to be doing quite well. Right, now watch this. What I'm thinking that Lando's thinking here is to smash into the back of those Pharaoh spearmen there. Now don't forget, those Pharaoh spearmen are all engaged, okay? And I'm just thinking, is there going to be a double lot of cavalry plus that lot going in as well to try and rout that big group of Pharaoh spearmen there? Is Mantu going to charge his Armenians into the rear of those engaged troops? Be interesting to see. Meanwhile, over here you can see that Vidar and Skema, they're doing well, holding the SBQ infantry. The chariots, of course, will be sapping the morale of our troops there, of Skema's and Vidar's there. So there's a kind of general overview there of the battle situation so far. But I think here that I might start thinking about moving my Spartans over to help my Egyptian ally. There's that cavalry going in like a bang as it smashes in there. Oh my gosh, but one unit's not going to cause the rout of those Egyptian units there, of course. There. And anyway, you can see I'm moving my Spartans over now to help Fesen here against that Scipio infantry, and I can see there's some Pontus pike units over there as well. So, as I say, my troops haven't had their chance to rest, and they're all they're winded at the moment. So, I am reluctant to put them in, but to me, it seems like maybe they're necessary to be put in now. Here, you can see my Spartans now reinforcing the Egyptian spearmen there against those Scipii infantry. Now straight away you'll see Lando moving his cavalry away from this flank here now. My Spartans have arrived, because obviously he won't want to use his cavalry anywhere near Spartans there if he can help it. And as I say, over here you can see Fesen attacking with his Egyptian pikemen there, and the Macedonian pikes facing Pontus. But on our right flank here, as I say, Vidar's red Julii troops there, and Skema's Macedonians, both cavalry and pikes, trying to hold our right flank there against the enemy troops there. So well done to them, as well as the pikes holding in the centre. Just want to show you a little bit of battlefield awareness here by Skema. If you notice, he's put a line of pike units there, a pike wall if you like. Can you think why he's done that? Okay, so it's to protect the rear of my Spartans and Fesen's Egyptian troops from those cavalry smashing into the rear there. If you notice here, I'm also aware of that cavalry in behind, because you'll see I've turned my general unit to face the threat of those fully upgraded cataphracts if Mantu was thinking of charging them in there, while the rest of my Spartans are pushing into the enemy troops there. Okay, so both Fesen's Egyptian troops and my Spartans are pushing their way into the enemy troops. You can see Lando's cavalry here. He'll be looking for any opportunity to smash into our infantry, and of course you've got the fully upgraded Armenian cataphracts there as well. Okay, so as I say, the enemy had the big 24 cavalry and chariot advantage there over our 8 cavalry, but if we're careful with the way we use our spear and pike units there, we could neutralise that advantage that the enemy team have got. There you are, you can see some of the enemy Scipii infantry starting to rout, and you can see here Lando bringing some more infantry around the flank of my Spartans there, but I'm going to keep that one unit back there ready, because I'm anticipating those Scipii troops moving in on the flank. There you are, so you can see now that I can now move that unit in to intercept that Scipii infantry there, and if possible take out Lando's general. I think he's put his general in a very should we say delicate position there, and I will be looking to take his general out if possible. And as I say, Mantu at the moment, I think he's looking around the battlefield to see where he can use his cataphracts best at the moment. But over here on our right flank, you'll see, I think the enemy are putting in a concerted effort. You'll see Lando's moved his cavalry over to that right flank. You've got Pontus chariots, plus you've got infantry, Scipii infantry and SPQ or infantry here, and I think they're looking to try and break our right flank here. That's what I think they're looking to do. That's why Lando's taking his cavalry over there, moved some of his infantry over there, and as I say, you've got Naacal's SPQ or infantry there as well, as I say, plus the Pontus chariots there as well here, looking to break our right flank, and then maybe looking to roll us up from right to left. Now, something interesting I'm going to ask you about here at this particular part of the battle. Okay, right, so here you can see that Mantu has finally moved his cavalry round from where it was over there and charged round here and attacking those 2 desert axe units. Remember, with no upgrades on, we looked at them earlier. Going to take them both out. Right, okay, now does Mantu go down this particular valley is what I'm going to ask you here. Right, can you see there's a valley down there, isn't there? You can see it's a valley kind of thing there, or a funnel, whichever way you want to call it. And you can see here that my Spartans are at the end and I'm fighting, right? So the rear of my Spartans there are being shown to those Armenian cataphracts. Okay, so do you think that Mantu should charge his cataphracts down that valley into the rear of my engaged Spartans, maybe to cause a mass rout? Do you think that that's what he should do, charge down that valley to do that? Okay, but I would suggest that maybe not, because I would see his cataphracts coming and I would turn my Spartans to meet that attack, and then if the Macedonians here on the flank moved in, you know, they could then trap the cataphracts as they were stuck here. You see what I mean? The Macedonians just turn inwards, the Macedonians turn inwards from there, and those cataphracts would be caught in like the valley of death, you know, down there. So if Mantu took a chance and charged down that valley, I think that could be a bad move for him there possibly. But hey, if you think that could be a good move, please put your thoughts in the comments. So they're interested to see what you think, because that would have been a tactical decision there, wouldn't it, to do that. But meanwhile, over here on our right flank, you'll see that the enemy are prevailing. Okay, you can see Vidar's units there, and the Macedonian units that Skema have put there have now all been routed. Okay, and now you can see the Armenian cataphracts to come over to this flank, and I think they're going to look to roll us up from right to left now. There, and maybe that cavalry advantage they had could really start to tell. You can see the Pontus pikes being used there to pin and hold the Macedonians here. You can see my Spartan army, I've kind of split it a little bit there, fighting in different directions. And you can see there that there's Pontus pikemen there moving in on my Spartans with their long pikes. And they're at that wall of Macedonian pikes that Skema put up to protect the rear of Fesen's and my infantry as we were attacking. He's now moving over to the other flank. Oh my gosh, poor old Vidar's general has just been taken out. So I think now, if I'm not mistaken, all of Vidar's troops have now been taken out, and the enemy are looking to roll us up from right to left. Okay, so as I say, all of our allies' Julii army has now been taken out, and look at her charging in. As I say, they're looking to roll us up now from right to left. Those cataphracts at the rear, those fully upgraded cataphracts ready to charge in. There, that's Vidar's general has just actually been killed, and there's Lando's general, just been taken out. Good. So Lando positioned his general, I thought, in a very dangerous position there, and he just paid the price. We've just killed his general there, so we've taken the general morale bonus away from their team there. Okay, and there you can see I'm moving some Spartan units into the back of some enemy units there to help rout them there, and it kind of, well, my Egyptian allies hold them at the front. Right. Okay, so this is a cheeky little attack here by Mantu. Okay, he saw a direct avenue into the Macedonian general unit, and what he did was he sent one cavalry unit in there, hoping to kill the Macedonian general. He just thought, I think he just saw an opening there into the rear of the Macedonian general unit there, and he charged that unit in. But as you can see, Skema spotted that unit, that cavalry unit coming in, and he turned his general unit to face a threat, plus he's brought reinforcements over there and took that unit out. But that was a cheeky little move there by Mantu, just on the chance he might have taken out the Macedonian general there. Meanwhile, here you can see my Spartans there fighting both Scipii troops and Pontus pikemen there. And over here, can you see the perimeter that Skema has set up with his Macedonian army there? Really good defense against the big cavalry advantage that the enemy have. I mean, that is really good, isn't it? I've spoken about how well Skema plays with Macedon in the past, and to my mind, he's one of the best players on the game with Macedon at this time. Right, see that Scipii cavalry smashing it in to my Spartans there. Okay, here it goes. You can see that next lot going in. Bang! As they smash in there. Okay, now, remember what I said to you at the beginning of the battle. Most of my Spartans have got a veteran stripe on them. Okay, most of my Spartans have got an experienced stripe on them, which will keep them fighting longer. Now, you might have thought they might have routed there, being hit by that Scipii cavalry, bearing in mind those units are very, very battle damaged anyway. So what I'm going to try and do now is try and consolidate my Spartans and try and move them together. Uh-oh, there's another hit coming in from the Armenian cataphracts. Bang! Into that Macedonian unit of schemers there, and straight into the back of it there, routed it there. Oh my gosh. That was a massive hit there by that cavalry. See, Mantu's looking around the battlefield for targets to use his fully upgraded cataphracts to hit. Now, at this stage of the battle, I think Lando has just admitted defeat. So any units that Lando had left is now gone. But you can see that Pontus Pike unit there pushing into my Spartans. I'm trying to, as I say, move my Spartans all together there, if I can, because I believe that the Spartan strength is when they're fighting together there, I think. Now, over here you'll see that Skema's done really well there in routing the enemy SBQR infantry. Remember though that Vidar has weakened them as well. Before all his army was taken out, Vidar and Skema were working really well on that flank there, but we've taken out the SBQR troops there. Okay, so here you can see now that Mantu is moving his Armenian cataphracts away, probably going to lock and load them to charge them back in. Okay, now watch that small group of Spartans there. Okay, they are extremely battle damaged there, and I think a big hit by cavalry would probably rout them. Okay, that's what I'm thinking there. You can see there's not many there, 20 in that unit, 7 men in that unit, 5 men in that unit there, so they're right to be routed, I think, to be honest with you. I think their morale would be very low, and if that cavalry hits them, I think they would rout. Okay, you can see a couple of units being thrown in there, and bang, as they smash in there. And there you can see the rest of them coming in there as well. Right, okay, so now this is a great tactical, surgical attack by Mantu. There's my general unit. Okay, I've only got 12 men left in there. There's my general there, very, very exposed to a cavalry hit. I'm trying to move him down to help with the morale with my Spartans down there. But watch this, as I say, great surgical attack by Mantu. Good battlefield awareness. Spotted my general, is in a very dangerous position there, and watch his cavalry come in, going to take him out on impact, I reckon. Bang! Right, great surgical hit there by Mantu. Took my general out, and did you notice those other Spartan units there that have been holding for a long time routed as soon as the general got taken out? As soon as the general morale bonus got taken away, they routed there. Nice hit there by Mantu, but you can see that my allies have pretty well finished off all the other enemy troops that they were fighting. So I just hope they can get over to the other flank now to help my Spartans out. It wouldn't surprise me if this Eastern armoured cavalry general smashed into the back of my infantry there. But as I say, you can see there the importance of how the general was keeping my troops fighting there. The moment he got taken out, you could see that those units routed. There comes that, I think that armoured cavalry general's just stood in behind my Spartans now. Now I reckon here, get ready for this, I reckon there comes that general into the rear of my troops, bang! And now watch Mantu, I reckon he's going to charge his cavalry in, but watch my Spartans, you watch this, remember they've got an experience stripe on them, bang! As those cataphracts, look at the penetration and impact of those cataphracts, and yet my Spartans still holding. Another unit going in, bang, in behind them, and yet those Spartan units still holding against those massive, fully upgraded cavalry. Just smashed into them there. They are very battle depleted, but they still held. Okay, this is another reason I want to show this battle. That's what a veteran stripe can do on units. Keeps them holding and fighting longer. You might have thought they'd have all routed there with that massive cavalry hit, yet they still held. That's what a veteran stripe can do on these units. Let's have a look at how many men I've got left in there. 10 men in that unit, is it? Is it 10 men, I think I saw? Yeah, 10 men in that unit. Is that 6? 10 men in that, 6 men in that unit. What's that? Was that 8 there? And 22, that's 22. That seems a lot, doesn't it? But those 4 units held there against that massive cataphract hit there, where you might have thought they'd have routed if they were just gold shield, gold attack. And you can see my allies have now come over to this side, and it looks like our team has managed to win the battle there. Poor old Vidar lost all his troops in that battle, but he did really well. You can see all the routed units there heading off towards the red line there. You can see Fesen has still got quite a few of his Egyptian fully upgraded spearmen left in there. As I say, remember this, we were really surprised, no chariots in his Egyptian army, and we thought, oh my gosh, how are these Pharaoh spearmen going to do with no chariot backup? And yet they've proven to be really good on this desert battlefield. So really well done there with the desert bonus. As I say, the quantity over quality that Skema bought with his Macedonian army has certainly worked in this battle, you know, with his 18 Pike units. If we go over here, there you are. You remember he lost all those Macedonian units there from Lando throwing his pilers into them there. Okay, so actually he didn't lose that as many as I thought he did there. You already can see there's a battle there of chariots and cavalry over there, and some Armenian troops, it looks like. As we move over here, you can see more dead there. As we move across here. So you can see in different parts of the battlefield the intensity of the fighting here. Or you can see this is a cavalry battle here. I think this is on the right flank here, where the enemy cavalry there were attacking our Macedonian allies' cavalry there. And as we move across the battlefield there, that you can see more dead there. And you can see a lot of cataphracts. A lot of those Armenian cataphracts there, they tend to stick out a bit. As you move across the battlefield here, you can see lots of dead there. You see the red cloaked Spartans there. They always show up on the battlefield, don't they? Look at that for death there. Look. I mean, you can see how intense the fight was. And here, look, is a big group of my Spartans. See, lots of them there. Goodness knows what happened there. The only thing I can think of is there must have been hit by Pontus pikemen there. Massive group of Spartans dead there. As you can see, more Spartans dead there as well. As you move across the battlefield here, you can see more dead. As I say, there's a big lot of cataphract dead around my Spartans there, my remaining Spartans, where they threw in that last attack of those cataphracts there. Goes to show how many those Spartans killed there. So there you go. You can see that, as I say, our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. I thought everybody played well. And as I say, it's rare these days to get a close victory. So whenever we get a close victory, I like to show that battle to everyone, as I hope you find close victories quite interesting to watch. Okay, and also something unusual in this game, highest kills in this game goes to one of the losing team. Look, Barclayman got over 2,000 kills with his Pontus pikes there. So really well done to him there with Pontus. I think that's his faction of choice, don't forget. But really good kills there for him. So well done to Barclayman there with his Pontus army. Well done to Lando. He'll be a bit disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills. But he was very aggressive as always. And well done to Mantu. The first time we've allowed 8 cataphracts. And look at the kills that he got. Second highest kills in his team. So well done with Armenia there. You don't see Armenia get that many kills, do you? So well done. Well done to Naacal. He'll be a bit disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills. And as I say, well done to Barclayman. Great kills there with Pontus. So well done, guys. My Spartan army there, yeah, I'm quite pleased with the kills. If you look at my army, it's the smallest army by far on the battlefield. If you look at all the other numbers there, you see my army is the smallest. But so the kills, pretty good, really. I'm quite pleased with that. Well done to Fesen with his all-spear Egyptian army. No chariots, remember, no archers battle there. So well done to him. Well done to Vidar, got over 1,000 kills with his Julii army there. Well done to him. And well done to Skema with his quantity over quality. Look at the army, bought 2,287. Oh my gosh. That is some kind of massive army there. Got some really good kills. And look at the troops that he's got left as well. Oh my gosh. So as I say, quantity over quality certainly did it in this battle. So well done to Skema. What about faction advantage? They got Rome, Armenia, Rome and Pontus. That's quite good. We've got Greek cities, Egypt, Rome and Macedon. So maybe on balance we had a maybe faction advantage there. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this battle. I thought it was an interesting one. And as I say, when you make your armies, think about putting an experience stripe on your troops. It really can make a difference during the course of the battle. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.